And welcome back to Rich's Action Figure Reviews. This week we've got another pop culture interview. Today we've got a fellow YouTuber by the name of, I think it's Brian's Action Figures Reviews, I believe. I'm not going to say much more. We're just going to get straight to the interview and we're just going to take it from there.
How did you get this?
So, we've got Brian today. How are you today, Brian?
I'm super. This is weird.
Excellent. Everything's weird, man, especially involving myself. So, as many YouTubers, I'm unprofessional and I haven't got my questions ready. So, here we go. So, Brian, tell us why you decided to start this channel of yours.
Jesus, yeah. So, I started watching, I don't know if you know him, Glenn Webb. He was one of the first action figure reviewers, and Shartimus Prime, and I think it was Anthony's Customs as well, you know that guy.
Yeah.
But, I started watching those guys and I thought, Jesus, I do a bit of acting on camera, I could do this stuff as well. So I said I'd give it a go. And I actually started a YouTube channel about 8 years ago and gave up on it because it was fucking terrible. But I got a proper camera phone a couple of years ago. I said, fuck it, I'll try this again. I'm better at it. I'm better and more fucking confident on camera. So, yeah, that's when I decided to have another go.
Excellent. So, like, how are you finding getting your name out there? What kind of resources are you using to kind of get your channel promoted? What are you doing to obviously if there's any kind of new up-and-coming YouTube channels, like, what can they do that you've learned to help expand your viewers?
I find if you keep a regular schedule, like put videos up at the same time every day, so people are waiting for it or kind of know it's coming every day at a certain time. And obviously during lockdown, I've had a lot more time, so I've actually almost put out a video every day, sometimes 2 videos a day in the past couple of months. And like when you're really consistent like that, people will jump on and support you. And yeah, it's just basically about sharing your shit on Facebook, Twitter, all the other social media stuff as well. And that can be pain in the arse, really, if I'm honest, but it's worth it though.
I would know that firsthand as well.
And you have to do it. As you're a fucking Instagrammer now, give Rich a shout out there.
So, like, is there, apart from like maybe constantly doing your updates and stuff, is there any kind of other advice that you would want to give people to obviously help them? Or you just say be as active as you can, right, when you're new?
I would say, like, don't go into this if you think you're going to be making money or anything like that. It's not. It's like anything. You're at the bottom. It's going to take a long time to get any traction, and do it for the love of it. Like, I love action figures, as you can see behind me.
Yeah, there's a couple there, I noticed.
I've 1 or 2, like, as you've seen. But yeah, I actually love doing this anyway. So, like, if I'm here in 10 years' time and I still don't have monetization, that's fine. I don't care. I like doing it anyway. So,
it's a hobby for you.
It's a hobby, exactly.
Excellent. So we all know, all the viewers, you like doing your own pop culture kind of segments. We are interviewing guests kind of thing. And obviously you've had a variation of different people, from just diehard kind of collectors to diorama makers to people who make their own cosplay and stuff. If you could have any guest to interview, who would it be and why? Now, they've got to be alive, but you could have anyone. Like, who would you like to have on your show and why is that?
Jesus. Yeah, see, now I know how people feel when I ask them questions.
Yeah.
I would have to say Mark Hamill, and I would ask him to give me as honest and a blunt of how his experience in the new trilogy was. And I think a lot of people would like to hear that.
It would be very interesting to hear what he would actually say.
Because like all we've really heard is sound bites and Twitter things. Like, we've never heard like a full disclosure on how things were on those 3 sets.
You'd also want him to do some Joker impressions for you as well.
100%.
Yeah, you could have him on and be like, can you just do this? I need to record it from my phone, please. Like,
When he's talking about Kathleen Kennedy, he should do it in the Joker's voice.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Cool. So obviously, like to all your viewers, we know we get a nerd kind of thing of various kind of different things. So we're going to talk about a few of these kind of things that sums you up in all different kind of nerdy geeky ways. So we'll kind of talk about your kind of action figure kind of collection. So obviously both of us are grown up adults. Myself personally, like I obviously had a huge collection when I was a kid. I kind of stopped when I was kind of teens and realized that my cousin, who was a lot older than me, had a collection and that inspired me. Did you find yourself from you were always still collecting toys from a kid, or did you stop? And if you did stop and start again, what actually made you start buying figures again?
Okay, that's a pretty easy one. When I was a kid, I was lucky enough. I was a lonely child, an only child, whatever way you say it, and my kids.
Sounds worse.
Well, I'm not anymore, but I was at the time. But my parents used to like buy me something like once a week from the daily shop. So it was like He-Man, Thundercats, and birthdays and Christmases. It was Transformers because they were big as fuck and expensive. And then it was the Turtles, and then Fox Kids came into my house, and I discovered X-Men, Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Then I hit my teens, and lots of things happened, and I kind of lost. I always had it in the back of my head, but I didn't I wasn't a full-on collector. And then
did you pick up the odd figure here and there, or did you just kind of stop completely?
I kind of stopped completely, but I still read comics.
Yeah.
And I still watched the shows and stuff, but
Same.
I didn't put money towards toys. And even though anytime I was in the city, I would always go in and look, but I would never buy. Do you know that kind of way? It was almost like self-conscious thing. I don't want to be seen buying toys.
It's an embarrassment to be like, don't judge me. You're like almost pretending like, no, I have a kid. I spy it from a kid, but secretly you're going like, it's all mine.
No, now I don't give a shit who sees me buying stuff or whatever. But what actually got me back into it was I was in a stable relationship and I was in the right headspace. And basically I went into a Tesco's one day and I spotted, those like 4-inch Marvel Universe figures?
Yes, they change it to Legends eventually.
Yeah, we'll see Legends was on a break because Hasbro had taken over from Toybiz, and they had the 4-inch Marvel Universe figures. And I just walked in, and like usual, I was walking in looking, see what kind of toys they have now. And I spotted Iron Man and Punisher in 4-inch, and I was like, I don't care, I'm having these, they're fucking awesome. So then I bought those, and I looked at the back of the box. Obviously, you can see the rest of Wave 1. And went in looking for those, got a few of those, and then I was like, what am I going to do now? So I went on eBay, and yeah, that was the end for me.
You're Alice, and you went down the rabbit hole, and you've never came back out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find a way back out.
Yeah. So you talked about the figures from your childhood. Obviously, a few of us have seen a lovely picture of an Action Man. I believe it was an Action Man still attached to a tree from God knows how long. Do you have anything that you still have from a child that's in your collection that's not kind of hidden away that you're proud to display, or it's kind of quite a lot of your childhood toys now kind of gone?
No, actually, I have something if I can find it. Do you remember the Muppet Show?
Yep.
I got this teddy.
No way.
From when I was like 6 years old, going into hospital, and yeah, he's gone absolutely everywhere with me. And I have another one here from Gremlins.
That's wicked.
They're the only two things like that are complete left from my childhood. As I showed you before, I have a basket of broken shit.
Yeah.
from years ago, but yeah, most of the stuff I have is probably gone or in my mother's attic, rotted to death. So yeah, that's it.
Have you ever ventured into your mum's attic to see what there is still left from your childhood?
Yeah, and I think it's all in the garage now. There's mostly like broken stuff, bits and pieces. Yeah. But there was a lot of
you could sell that for the the broken parts. There'd be someone who might need those kind of broken bits.
Like the thing my proudest thing I had when I was a child was there was a G1 Optimus Prime. It could not be gotten anywhere over here. So my uncle, who was working in England at the time, he brought it home for Christmas for me. Total surprise. I nearly lost my shit that morning.
And you were the coolest kid in the street, I bet you.
No, because I didn't show no one, because I was like, that's mine.
So obviously you always talked about you went about the shops, you're looking at figures and stuff. What is it you're kind of looking for when you're wanting to buy a figure? Is there anything I know like certain people, they only want to stick to obviously certain lines, like myself, but then obviously you've got quite a wide kind of collection. You cross so much different kind of companies, the brands and stuff. So what is it you're looking for to be like, you know what, I'm going to get that figure over that figure?
Well, when I'm shopping online, it's a completely different story, because I just look for what I want, because most of the stuff I do collect, you can't get in bricks and mortar shops.
Yeah.
But when I went to like Smith's, I'm very much open to what I could find in there. Like I bought like Pokemon figures, Mario figures in Smith's that I would have never bought online. Just for maybe even the feeling of buying something in person or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain, really.
No, I get that. There's nothing. I think like when you go into a shop and you buy a figure, it does take that sentimental feeling back to when you were a kid, going into a shop, having a browse and being like, this is the figure I'm going home with, kind of thing, you know. So like, I know I totally get what you're saying. Like sometimes like I'll just go into a shop and I'm looking for potentially just something to be like, oh, I can use that as a dead body in a picture, you know. No, so I totally get that. So once again, to people who can't see, must be blind, but like you have a shitload of figures, and obviously what we see from here is just only some of it. What is your favorite item that you own?
My favorite item.
I know you're doing your top 10, but that was of this year. I'm talking cut from your whole collection. What is your favorite piece?
Collectors up there. Masterworks Collectors. I
Nice.
had that about 8 years, and it will be buried with me.
So to all of Brian's loved ones who are watching this video, if he passes away, make sure that figure is buried with him.
And it speaks as well, so hopefully when they're putting on the coffin, they'll hear us. Oh, here's Galactus, or whatever the fuck he says.
That would be fucking creepy, right?
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So to most figure collectors, we all have to what people don't know is what we call a grail, and that's that figure that is quite hard to get, or sometimes it is very easy to get, but you are paying stupid money. What is your grail and why?
Usually, I've had a few grails and I've gotten them, so this answer does change a lot. But at the moment, I've given up on getting the SH Figuarts androids from Dragon Ball Z. I've given up on getting SH Figuarts Beerus from Dragon Ball Z because of the absolutely stupid price they go for on the aftermarket. So those would be a grail at the moment for me.
I actually personally thought you were maybe going to say Krillin, because obviously I know that he can be a pain.
I think he would be 100% re-released, so I don't think that.
Dynamic Saga kind of coming along 100%. I can see that coming. Cool. So we're going to talk about your video games, because obviously I know that's a big thing. Like since I've known you, you're a big gamer as well. So you just want to talk about kind of what games you're into and what kind of games you grew up playing as well.
I grew up playing the likes of Sonic 2 and Mario on the SNES. Like I never had a SNES, but I had a loaner one for a couple of months, and that was enough. I was a Mega Drive guy when I was a kid, so I had Sonic, Streets of Rage, all that kind of stuff. Then it was PlayStation, Grand Theft Auto, Tomb Raider. Metal Gear Solid was my favorite PlayStation 1 game by a length.
That was a great game.
And the series has gotten better and then delved back into shit after a while. At the moment, can't wait for The Last of Us 2. It could be out pretty soon, depending on when this goes up. I'm thinking next week, so it'll be about a couple of days after this. But I love third-person action games. I love the likes of Doom and stuff as well. I would try any game really, but third-person action games probably be my favorite.
Excellent. So I assume you've had numerous different kind of maybe consoles growing up. Obviously, you're now an adult, so you've been buying your own consoles.
Mm.
What would you say is your favorite console, but also your favorite game of all time?
Phew. um,
Making you fucking sweat, like you make us sweat.
yeah, fuck me. PlayStation 1, I think, because that represented the biggest jump in quality in graphics, I think. And no, I'm wrong actually. PlayStation 2 is what I meant. And I bought PlayStation 2 and it came with Grand Theft Auto 3. And that game, when I turned it on first, I was like, holy shit. Because the previous Grand Theft Auto had been like a top-down thing where you can barely see
Yeah.
anything. And then you actually get into a car and drive around an actual city, which we all take for granted now, was absolutely amazing at the time. So I would say PlayStation 2 probably my favorite console, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater favorite game.
Oh, that was a great game. It's funny going back to what you're saying about your Grand Theft Auto, because remember when the game Driver came out for the PlayStation, and it was kind of had that feeling of your Grand Theft Auto, and I just remember everyone going,
So frustrating that
"This is
game.
what Grand Theft Auto should be," and it's like eventually, obviously, technology wasn't quite there. Now that's what you're saying. We take it for granted now. That's what we get now. But yeah, that's that. But also, your choice of game is such a great game. I love that. Like if you got poisoned, it kind of slows you down in certain ways, or like if you got shot in the arm, you have to get the blood packs and stuff on there, kind of thing.
It's
So
even like the whole fucking you to actually eat to survive, and do you know
yeah,
that guy, the end was he called? You could actually turn off the PlayStation and turn it back on the following day, and he would have died. It's fucking
yeah,
madness. Like,
yeah. It was such a good game. It was like quite an easy game I found once you kind of learned the tricks and stuff to it. But like,
I
oh
found
man, yeah.
I found it was a great James Bond game under a different label because the music and everything. Like,
So I've kind of taken a question that you kind of sometimes do and kind of twist it into the video games. Obviously, we're living in a world right now where we're getting likes of Resident Evil and Final Fantasy, two massive games back in like let's say like the 90s that were absolutely
I know
huge
where you're going with this.
and remade. So, what game would you love to be remade, and I want to know why?
It would have to be the Legacy of Kain series, either Soul Reaver or Blood Omen. I think
Oh,
Blood Omen especially would make an amazing like Skyrim type game with
okay.
with fucking vampires, which is pretty fucking awesome. I think that would have to be my choice. Or sorry, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I always forget that one. It's
Yeah, you probably speak about that a lot.
it's the ultimate Star Wars game.
I was always N64 Rogue Squadron for myself.
I love Rogue Squadron as well.
Yeah. So, to people who may not know Brian that well, but obviously quite a lot of viewers who do watch Brian know that, like, once again, movies and TV shows is a big thing of Brian's life. You get to talking to Brian. I mean, you can have good long conversations about both these kind of like films and TV shows. So what kind of attracts you to like a film or a TV show? What does it have to kind of consist of for you to be like, I'm going to invest my time into watching that?
It has to have a good story.
Mm-hmm.
Action is it's not necessary, but it is nice.
Yeah.
But mainly it has to be the story. Like if it doesn't draw me in within the first, I'm gonna say 20 minutes, but it'll probably be shorter. If it doesn't draw me in within the first 20 or so minutes, I'll usually say no. Unless I've heard it's gonna be good, I'll usually turn it off.
Because I was waiting to say, has there then been the case where you've turned it off, but then you found out later on that it's actually a brilliant film, and you're being like, well, I switched off like 10 minutes in because it didn't go anywhere.
No, I've done that with TV series though, for definite.
I did that with Gotham. I got 5-10 minutes in, and I was like, biggest pile of shit ever, switched off. And then like years later, everyone's like, Gotham is such a great TV show, and I'm like, no, it's not.
I got 2 episodes in of Gotham, and I turned it off, and Tubbs, I think it was actually, said, no, you have to give it another chance. So I gave it another chance. I got 3 episodes in and turned it off. And I haven't gone back to it since.
You're saving yourself some time, so that's great. So to people who don't know, Brian's actually a part of, I'm just going to say, the kind of Republic of Ireland kind of independent film kind of scene. You've done numerous things, but to what I know is you do quite a lot of acting jobs. And I think you do other bits and bobs. how did you fall into that? How did you find it, and kind of like, do you know, like, what do you enjoy about that?
It's a funny story because the two worlds kind of meshed together for this. I was on a collectors group, a local collectors group, where my few friends around here where I live are on, and one of the lads on there, I'm no longer friends with him now, but that's another story. He said to me, he said on the group, I'm joining an acting class tonight, lads. Anyone fancy joining me for the crack? So I commented, I was doing nothing else that night, and I said, yeah, fuck it, I'll go in. So I went into the acting class, felt stupid for about 10 minutes, and then absolutely fucking loved it, and never turned back. So that's kind of how that started. What was the rest of the question?
So like, obviously that's kind of how you got into the kind of acting, but how did you get into the actual, like, the film parts, or was it TV shows? You know, like, how did you manage to get those roles, and kind of how did you find that? Because obviously, just doing from like ever doing acting to joining like an acting course, but then actually going into someone's kind of to films is quite big jumps kind of thing. So how did you find that, and how did you actually get into that roles?
Well, the class we went to was run by a former like Irish TV star, and what he used to do, he'd have like a 10-week class, and a couple of those weeks there'd be film students coming in picking out talent spotting basically, because there's a college not far from there as well, and they all do like film projects. So that's how I started out. Met a couple of those guys. You kind of build up your experience, and other people watch them. It's kind of, you know, a ladder in a way. So like you have to work your way up, and I think in my first year or so, I did something like year and a half. I did something like 25 short films, and that's how I build it up. Like
Check him out on IBMD, you know, get his back catalogue of films there. So obviously, because obviously these are quite a lot of hardworking, independent kind of filmmakers. Can you share any information on how your viewers can support, kind of see these films, kind of show some support? Where can they kind of gain access to these kind of movies?
Well, I became friends with a guy called Paddy Murphy. You know him from Let's Survive Paddy Plays, and that's how I met Tubbs as well. I like when I started out doing the acting classes, the teacher taught me get in touch with local filmmakers. So Stephen Tuberty had just made his very first feature film by himself on an amateur camera. So I was like, I messaged this dude and see what's the story. Has he got any more acting jobs going?
I've seen his wrestling videos, so you must have some. Some help.
That's how I got to know him, and his sister does film makeup as well. So I kind of pulled myself into the whole thing by accident, sort of meeting all these people, and they're all my friends now, which is fucking mad. But go to Celtic Badger Media on YouTube. You'll find a lot of our stuff there. I don't have my own stuff on. I must do that on a separate YouTube channel or something.
Such a terrible YouTube posted. He can't even have his own things on there for you guys.
Well, it's an action figure channel. We keep that to the side.
Excellent. Yeah. What would you say? Obviously, like, you love acting. Obviously, any of your friends are doing kind of new films. From what I hear, you're kind of quick to be like, hey, if you need a hand, like, I want to be in it. What would be the perfect role for someone to present to you? And also, who would you love to, once again, have to be alive, but star along with?
Any villain role. I absolutely love being a villain. I think my top 3 performances have probably be all been bad guys, because when you're a bad guy, you have a much higher ceiling to how crazy you can go or how low you can go. Whereas if you're playing a good character or a kind of middle character, you're very stunted in what you can do. There isn't a lot of wavelengths you can go to. As for who I'd like to star beside, Robert De Niro, because he's the first actor that really stuck out to me when I was younger, starting to watch movies like Goodfellas, Casino, Raging Bull. You could go on for hours with listing these fucking movies.
That's good.
And I think he would be amazing to get advice off of.
Excellent. So earlier on you touched upon how when you stopped doing your figures, you would still read your comics and stuff. What got you into reading comics? Was it because of the Fox TV? Like, you seen your X-Men and your Spider-Man, yeah?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. my parents as well used to buy me these annuals at Christmas, and there was always like Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk and stuff. That's where I got to learn them first, and then I saw, of course, the cartoons, and then I was sold for life.
Excellent. So what kind of comics do you enjoy reading? Obviously, we've spoken about, like, we've both been reading, kind of, me, ourselves and Alan, we've kind of been reading, like, some of the Star Wars titles and stuff, and discussed that. But what kind of other things have, like, what kind of catches your attention to be like, I want to read that? Is it down to the cover? Are you looking at who's writing it, or is it the artist? What kind of brings you to be like, I want to read that picture and pick up that comic?
I think it's word of mouth with comics for me, because they're like, I have favorite characters, but there are shit comics for my favorite characters as well.
Oh, absolutely.
If you get me. Like, I love reading Avengers stuff. I've read the whole lot of the Walking Dead run. There's a lot of good independent comics out there. Like when I say independent, I don't know what I mean. Image comics, those kind of ones, they're excellent as well. So it's not all Marvel I read either. I'm not a huge fan of DC, because I don't know, I find them harder to relate to or something.
Because they're more gods than human kind of characters.
A lot of the locations and everything are all made up and stuff, and I don't know, it doesn't speak to me in the same way Marvel does. Because you feel like, everyone always says it, but you can relate easier to Spider-Man, because he's a kid that has real world problems, yet he still goes out and gets broke up every night, saving the world kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So what are your favorite titles that you will always stand by and read? Myself, like, I will always continue to read, say, Captain America. What do you find for yourself? Like, what kind of comics do you go, like, I'm always going to pick up that new issue or try and get a hold of it so I can read it?
I'm a big reader of trade paperbacks, so the collected editions. So I never go for one. Like, I love villain stories, as you probably got from my love and playing villains as well. Like, even just today, I ordered Doctor Doom's trade paperback. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's the newest one anyway. I just find villains so fascinating, and every hero is. I find with heroes, they're only as good as the villain makes them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like one of my favorite characters, no one really. Hold on a sec. No one really knows him or anything, like, but Ares from the Dark Avengers. He's one of my favorite characters, and his trade paperback is brilliant as well. If you ever get a chance to pick it up.
It was a good character. Did you ever read them when the Sentry ripped him apart in the war? Oh, it was so brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. So within comics, we've seen some crazy crossovers in kind of comic books. You've had your Avengers versus your Justice League. I've seen Transformers with the Visionaries. You've had like Superman, Batman versus Alien and Predator. So you've got like a big, huge kind of crossover titles. What would be a crossover of characters that you would love to see in a comic book?
Fuck. Marvel versus Dragon Ball would be pretty one-sided, I think.
Yeah, man. Like, let's not get into that. I mean, like, Goku would, like, maybe Hulk and Sentry, Hyperion would maybe kind of give Goku like a run for his money. But I don't know, man. I guess it's quite an easy.
I know, it's really hard. I suppose what would happen if Punisher was in the Walking Dead universe?
See, that would be very fucking interesting. Like,
because he's not super. Like, he's just a regular dude.
I reckon it would be like, what was his name? Negan? Is that the character's name?
Yeah.
But like 10 times worse. If not a lot worse than 10 times. You know what I mean? Because you'd just be like killing fucking everyone. No, so that'd be it. So that's all the questions I have for at this kind of point now. We're going to give you the opportunity to plug yourself. Where can we find you on social medias, kind of all that. So if you'd like just kind of, there you go, and you go for that.
Well, if you're watching this, you can find me right here at Brian's Action Figure Reviews on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And either I or Rich will be dropping the links in the description. But yeah, you know where to find me. And don't forget, if you're on Facebook, get onto Good Figures, best figure group on the social media site. Myself and Rich are admins, and we'll find plenty of characters on there, I'm sure, as well.
Well, thank you again for coming on our show. I appreciate that.
Anytime. Your show, I say. thanks everybody. That's been Rich's action figure reviews. Make sure to follow him too on Instagram on chest bursting photography.
Chest.bursting.photography. Yep.
If you'd like to see some alien stuff, which is awesome. And thanks, Rich, for interviewing me. That was really weird and really strange. I hope I gave you some entertaining answers. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to me, him, and we'll see you soon. Bye. I don't know how that happened, but I sure hope you enjoyed that pop culture interview with myself. And massive thanks to Rich for coming on and doing that. It was a really difficult and weird experience for me, but I hope you enjoy watching it. And obviously, as I said, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like and comment. And we'll see you soon. See you guys. Bye.